Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Healing Doesn't Have to Be Heavy podcast. I'm so excited to have you with us today. For those of you that don't know, my name is Angie Barrett, and I am a trauma informed coach. I'm a play expert, I'm a registered nurse, and I'm also a child abuse survivor. I help people and women use play and movement to connect to their bodies, releasing limiting self beliefs, stress, anxiety, tension, depression, and trauma. And as I was on my healing journey, one of the things that I really found so challenging was how heavy the journey felt. I felt like I was just slogging through mud and unable to find any hope or joy on the journey. And so now that I'm where I am on my healing journey, I want to bring so many resources, options, and tools for you on your healing journey, wherever you might be, so that you can find light and hope and possibility with some of these amazing guests that I'm bringing on for you. And I have a fantastic one today who is just so vibrant in color and life. I can't wait for y'all to meet her. But before we do, I just want to give a slight disclaimer. We will be talking about things like child abuse, other types of abuse. So check in with your own self, your own nervous system. If you start to get dysregulated, you feel agitated, ground yourself down, do something, step away. And then I invite you to come back because our guest today has some incredibly valuable resources to help you on your journey. But most important, take care of yourself and just be aware. So, without any, oh, and also stick around till the end because she has a special gift for you, as do I. So make sure you stick around till the end. So let me introduce her. Let me introduce y'all to Gina Marie. And Gina, take it away. Gina Marie, tell us about yourself.
I'm so excited to be here. So thank you so much, Angie, for having me. So I'm a certified pranic healer. I've been on my healing journey for quite a few years, and I developed the colorful clearing method, which is a non-traditional form of meditation therapy that I feel exactly the same way that you do. It makes healing not feel so heavy. It's a perfect just technique to process the emotions. It has a lot of different components, and hopefully we'll share a little bit more about that as we go.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, let's jump into your story if and share what you feel comfortable sharing with us. Tell us how you got into the work, and then I definitely want to delve into your healing modality because I love it.
Awesome. So my healing journey did not really start until about 5, 6 years ago. And as with everyone, we have so many things that contribute to life experiences causing the trauma, right? We have so many things that we go through in life from childhood all the way up. For me, I do have abuse in my childhood. I have emotional abuse in my previous marriage, and I have history of anxiety and panic attacks and depression. And you go through life, you carry the weight of the things that are happening to you, and you get to a point where you look around and you're just not functioning like you should in life. I can tell you what you see here right now. If you would have met me 8 years ago, 10 years ago, I was, I never wore color. I dressed in black all the time. Didn't look anything like I look right now. And I wasn't the same person. I really feel when you start on a journey of healing, you're signaling to the universe that you want to step into a new identity, an identity that no longer really has to have that ball and chain of the weight of what you went through. So you can break free of that victim of circumstance mentality and you can get to the other side of it. So in the last 5 years, that's what I did. I went through and started on the healing journey. And I'm sure, like you have, you try lots of things. You try therapy, you try the medications. I was on 8 different medications at one point, and I felt like I was a spectator in my own life. And I feel that I am always an advocate for medication. You will not hear me say that, because I believe that medication serves a purpose
Yes.
at times. For me, though, I knew that I was never going to get to the other side because I was numbing. the true feelings that I needed to process. I just didn't know the proper way to process them without it feeling so horrible. Because when you do process feelings, it is not fun. So that's a little bit about my journey. I have tried many different modalities, and that's what hopefully the colorful clearing method, at least to date, has proved to be, I feel, a lighter, fun approach to healing that honestly heals in a more rapid manner because of the way it's structured and every piece is put into place.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And I love that you brought up medications. There's a lot of shame for many people who do go on medications. And yet that is a tool as you start on your healing journey or are in the middle of your healing journey to give you some of that relief while you start to process some of this heavy stuff. Because healing from trauma, childhood trauma, abusive marriages, all of that kind of stuff is painful. And so finding something that helps you um, be able to start to do that and then get deeper and deeper into the work is fantastic. And so I'm with you. I think medication is great. It has its purpose, and that purpose can be to help you find and navigate new tools and new somatic work. So tell us about the
Absolutely.
colorful healing method. Tell us what it is,
Sure.
what it makes up. And by the way, for those of you that can't see her, if you're listening to this on the audio version, Gina Marie has purple hair. She's got a pink jacket on. She has all this color behind her. And so, like you, I also only wore muted colors for a long time, and I love color now. So tell us how you got to this point where you have all this color and vibrancy.
So I guess that's kind of where I identify with this method, and the
Yeah.
healing journey that I was put on and have been through has brought the color back in my life. And so I feel like we come into this world and we do have a colorful existence as children. We have that innocence and we have that vibrancy. And it's because usually nothing has happened yet to change that, to
Yeah.
draw the color out. And so that's where I really feel this method does do a really good job of kind of bringing that back. And I believe that everyone can bring the color back in their lives with the work that is tried and true, like yoga, like the like what you do, some breath work. There's so many different types. So I think if this is an incredible opportunity for listeners to realize, get out and explore, try the different things, because healing is not a one size fits all approach. Not only that, I feel I don't mind saying the word healing, and I don't mind saying it. However, I believe my work will never, ever be done. So that's kind of why I call the method the clearing method, because I feel that we are always going to have life throw shit at us. Just
Yes.
that's what's going to happen. That's not stopping. It's not
No.
stopping anytime soon. So it doesn't matter. There's always going to be stuff to work on. So saying that there's an end to the journey, I don't necessarily adopt that. And I kind of feel like this is a lifelong coping technique that helps you maintain a more peaceful, calm, happy, consistent baseline as you navigate life with all of the things that are thrown at us. So the colorful clearing method combines journaling, which we know is extremely important in healing, because I paint it as, our thoughts have so much power as to how it is affecting our daily life. What we think a lot of times comes into existence, the good and the bad. And that's just how it works. But when we want to clear or heal, intention is everything. So setting the intention, I want to release the energetic imprint that this event caused me. Bringing that down from your thoughts and getting them on paper has such an energetic impact on the release, on the clearing. So the method combines taking a little bit of time to journal, to clear intentionally things that you want to release. Then it goes into movement. We have to move our energy centers, the the trauma, the stress, the negativity, everything that we experience it can get trapped, it can get blocked. And if you don't move, that's why I love create what you do with play and dance and movement. It's so important, and not enough people put that into their method. So we're doing that a little bit. Then there's a meditation involved in the colorful clearing method. The meditation is specifically designed to kind of walk you through a little bit of imagery of the events you want to clear. So this is where some people, this is the part of healing that, it has to kind of be done, right? But I feel when it's done in a meditation, it's done in a certain technique, it's just a flash and then it's gone. It's dissipated. You don't have to sit in it. You don't have to relive it. It's just that you're setting the intention. I want to let that go. And then after that, we do a little bit of movement. Somatic breath work is in there that is so powerful in healing. I cannot tell you how much I enjoy breath work, and I never even knew that was a thing, 15, 20 years ago that it could help me. And so what I feel this method does is it takes little bits of everything, combines it in an intentional way. At the end of these sessions, we actually do a little bit of visualization as to what we want to call in, because we're clearing all this negativity out. It's time to bring the colorful things in, the things that we want to manifest, the things that we want to bring into our life. And throughout the entire session is custom design music that myself and my son, AJ, he's a pranic healer, and he also happens to be a music producer. And we work to develop all of the tracks with binaural tones, frequencies, the solfeggio scale, and that creates a layer of sound healing in the entire method. So it really, truly, I feel, is something that when it's tried, it's going to make you feel like you meditated for a week, but it only takes about an hour. And at the end, you will absolutely feel lighter. Some participants say they feel lighter for an entire week afterwards.
That's amazing. And I have so many questions that are racing through my head right now. First of all, talk about what pranic healing is for people who may not know what that is.
Okay, so pranic healing, prana is the word for energy. It's the Sanskrit word for energy. So it's really just energy healing. So we have energy centers, which a lot of people know, chakras. There's a lot of chakras. Most teachers kind of focus on 7. In pranic healing, we focus on 11. And it takes you through the process of pranic healers or any energy healers. I'm not a healer. I'm not healing you. I just learned how to channel the energy of the universe, of whatever you believe, source. And I just know where to direct it
Mm.
to help clear your energy centers, to allow your own body to heal itself faster. That is all energy healing really is. I like to say, it's not voodoo, it's not witchcraft, it's not anything like that. We have an energy body. If you can feel someone's energy when they walk into the room, guess what? Their energy body and your energy body mixed, and you're sensing it. It is real. If you think about someone and then all of a sudden they text you
Call
or
or text. Yeah.
yes, that we are all connected energetically and we're all energy. But sometimes the energy gets trapped. Our bodies then vibrate in a lower frequency, and it becomes harder for us to reach those higher vibrational frequencies, which is where love and peace and joy and happiness are stored. And sometimes we just have to take a little bit of different approach, yoga, things like that, and just focus on aligning our own energy centers so they can do what they're meant to do.
That is beautiful. And I'm going to say for anybody listening, if you're thinking that we're getting into woo woo areas, we probably are a little bit. And I'm going to come back to some science here. Being the registered nurse, my brain for a long time, I had a hard time tapping into energy healing. And now I'm all about it. So to come to science, if you think about it, at a cellular level, our atoms or the things that make up our cells are energy charged. They're positive, they have positive energy, they have negative energy, and they're constantly moving. And so energy work, things like pranayama or working into pranayama's breath work, but moving into energy, moving into chakras is actually tapping into our cellular makeup. Like we are cellularly connected with everything that's around us. And so there is some scientific basis for this for anybody that's listening that's like just all of a sudden dismissing it because it does sound woo woo. There is some scientific foundation for it. And research is actually being done um, on the benefits of energy work with healing because there is such a profound effect with it. So it's Western medicine is starting to move towards more of the energetic healing. So I love that. I love that you brought that up.
I geek out on science too, just to let you
Okay.
know. So we are good. I actually have brain curtains right over to my left that you can't see, rainbow brain curtains, and I geek out on it on as well. So one thing I want to say, if there is no shortage of scientific
Yes.
information for you guys to look up through any of this. And again, like you, I know that there is an element where people's ears shut down because it goes over. Where I would love to paint the more scientific background with what you and I both do is our brains produce chemicals when we are
Yes.
stressed. You have adrenaline, you have the all the cortisol, and
Cortisol.
our
Yeah.
our brains are getting flooded with these chemicals because of our stress response.
Mm-hmm.
When you do the energy work, when you do meditation, breath work, yoga, movement, dance, you release the chemicals, the dopamine, the serotonin, the there's so many that can just, you're causing the stress chemicals to go down, the positive chemicals to come in, and it's done in a natural way. You're
Mm-hmm.
not taking artificial serotonin to do it. So it's a beautiful world of, science meets, East meets West. It is when you really look into it.
I love that. And I talk all the time about the fight or flight energy. It's, you talk, I think it's what Newton's law, E equals MC squared, a body in motion stays in motion. And so when you're in fight or flight, your body's in motion. You're pumping out all these stress hormones. And so until you do something to shift that, it's like you're stepping on a gas pedal with your body just amping up. And so oh my gosh, I will totally geek out on
Well,
science.
they say that emotion is energy in
Yes.
motion, but what energy are you bringing to it? Are you
Yes.
bringing the negative emotions or are you bringing the positive emotions? Because it just depends on which one you're bringing.
So true. Oh my gosh, I could talk forever about the science. But let's get back to what is somatic breath work? I find that
Somatic
fascinating.
breath. Okay, so somatic breath work is a combination of deep breathing exercises that are combined with intentional releasing and, kind of manifesting or calling in, or, so it's the intention that you set while you're doing the breath work. One of the most, well, in the method, we want to ease people into it because real somatic breath work, when you go into an hour long class or 2 hour long class, it is really intense if you have never done it before. And that's where I feel sometimes people shut a door if it feels too difficult, right? So we take one of the easier methods of somatic breath work where it's a deep inhale, two different techniques. You could do a deep inhale through the nose, out through the nose, also inhale through the mouth, out through the mouth, but you're actually going to do the breathing in rhythm, in rhythmic, like in rhythm to the music. So we align the
Mm,
music and then we actually have our breath recorded on the track. So it's easier for you to follow as you're doing it. And it's a matter of 30 out, 30 in timed. And then you hold for an entire 30 seconds and then you do it again. But so the first part is inhale out, exhale through the mouth only. Then the last part is through the nose, inhale and out, and then that hold in the middle. It's just a few minutes of the breath work in there, but when you're doing it, we walk you through releasing. If release with every breath that you exhale, picture the stress leaving. With every inhale, picture the peace flooding your body, the calm, the joy, whatever. And so when you're done with it, I mean, your hands tingle, your body tingles. It's a beautiful experience, and it really makes a huge difference, I feel.
I love that. Talk about how music, and specifically the music that you and your son have created, but how music impacts this ability to navigate the healing journey. Because I'm a huge fan of music. I use it regularly when I do my own movement practices because it allows me to tap into my body better. But how does music, how have you found that music specifically helps and navigate that?
Well, first, music has been around since creation, right? So it has been a tool that has been here for us to use, for enjoyment, for elevation of our emotional bodies, our spirit. And everyone, I guarantee, has a song that
Yes.
they put on, and it can literally elevate their mood. And that's really, when you look at music, it is able to transmute our negative feelings into positive feelings, but it is also able to, it has just the same power when you go into, if, let's say you're in, rage mode and you want some really heavy music that, I mean, it can make you angry. It really has so much power. But when you look at our brain wave states, this is where it's so, I believe, crucial in healing, is to allow your autonomic nervous system to get to a place where it kind of, you enter this little bit of, it's a zoned out, right? What most people would think meditation would bring, a meditative state. So we have alpha, beta, theta, delta, we have all the gamma, we have all these different levels of brain waves. Well, when you layer not only binaural tones, which when traveled through your ears can actually induce the different states, but
Mm.
when you have that, you can do also different frequencies. Now, there's in their hertz frequencies, there's some that help you focus, some that help you sleep. I mean, a lot of people use deep sleep tracks where they just put it on and, it helps them stay asleep through the night. It's a little bit of an elevated white noise machine, if you will. So when we design the music, depending on what part of the session we're doing, the music is designed with the intention to create a certain state. So during the journaling portion, we want to open up a little bit of, kind of helping your brain get into a state of flow and relaxation, concentration. And then at the end, when we have that track for journaling, what we want to call in, what we want to manifest, what we bring, we have inspirational hertz line that helps you kind of just get into these different states that make your experience in that hour the most it can be. We're all busy. This takes time. And if you find a way, to me, as a busy mom of four and owning multiple businesses in my life, I want the most bang for my buck. So I was like,
Absolutely.
how can I create a way where I want every healing thing I could get, and I want to give them it in an hour, and I want them to walk away like they went through a car wash of their like emotions. So
Yes.
I believe we've achieved it, but that's a little background on music and the reasoning for the creation of specific pieces for the method.
That's fantastic. The idea that your brain can be opened up and some of this stuff can be released with literally just listening to music is so powerful. That also, the reverse, then, like you talked about, it music can bring about rage. Music can also bring about that depressive state, thinking of songs that make you cry if you just put those on and you're, post breakup. Have you ever been in a post breakup and wanted to just cry? So you put on all these post breakup songs. Music has
Yeah.
that power to really tap into. Maybe that's an angsty teenage thing that I did. So if any of you else have done that out there,
No, I did it too. I had a
okay,
relationship, and last May, I'm 47 and I did it as well. So I think it's part of processing. That's what I'm going to say. It's part of the
absolutely.
process.
It's a way for me, it was a way to lighten that journey because I got to have these songs, this angsty feeling. I got to, emote it out. And then I was like, I'm good. And so it was done through
Yeah,
music. So
absolutely.
music is incredibly powerful. And also just know it can call in some of those things that you maybe don't want because your brain is so highly attuned to it. So I am going to um, say be cautious of what you listen to because your brain is
Yes.
much more receptive than maybe you even realized that it was. So, my question for you, Gina Marie, is when people are struggling on their healing journey, and I know that you've struggled through your journey, how do you find that your method can help people when they're hitting those rough moments? Because on any healing journey, even healing from just life, even if you haven't had major big T traumas, but just, life stressors, how do you find that hope or that lightness in the journey?
Think the one thing is releasing perfection. And that was
Mm-hmm.
really big for me because we say, okay, I'm ready to get better. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to tackle all this stuff. And we might do good for a few days. And then we're like, oh my goodness, like I don't have time to do this today. I don't have time to do that. And we get distracted. And then it's days and days go by. For me, finding little bits of time where maybe I didn't have time to do all of the things that are in the method. And maybe you don't have time to do the entire hour session in this specific case, but you want to pull out just the journaling session. You can start it and literally just, okay, from minute 5 to minute 10, you sit for a couple minutes in the morning and you do that. Or maybe you just want to do the meditation part. So you just do that. Maybe you like doing the meditation part at the end of the day. There's so many different techniques in the method that you could pull out if you were pressed for time. But I really feel it's exploring what feels good to you because we are creatures of habit and we are going to always gravitate away from pain and we're going to gravitate towards pleasure. So we have to find the things that make us feel good and we have to, I believe, adopt that this is something that's just going to be a part of your daily routine. And with clearing, I want you to think of it as you take that trash out every single week. It does not pile up in your kitchen. It would stink, it would get horrible, and you take it out and it gets taken away. That is what clearing and healing, it has to be done on a continual basis. So if you just adopt the habit of saying, I'm getting all this emotional stuff coming in. I gotta spend time every week getting it out. At the same time, it is a clearing and it can just be as easy as brushing your teeth. It doesn't have to be, a huge thing. Even a few minutes a day will make a huge difference. I know she has, and I want to say this, play when we connect to our inner child. Your inner child should be with you always. You should
Yes.
be loving and hugging that 5-year-old self, that 12-year-old self, that 15-year-old self. It is a part of you. It is you. But that play that we tapped into, we lose that as adults. I think the statistic right now is adults laugh something like maybe 4 to 5 times a day. That's it. And children laugh sometimes. I can't remember the statistic, so I won't quote it, but it's astronomically larger in and if we found more ways to incorporate play in our day, even if it's, putting music on while you do the dishes and making a game with yourself that I'm going to be the master dishwasher loader and I'm going to get it done in as fast as I possibly can, but it's also going to be done like a Tetris game. And I'm going to feel so good when it's done because I have my own method. But you make it fun for yourself, or you're with your kids and you decide to be lighthearted and do something that's a little bit with for me it was, I'll be in a department store or something, and instead of taking the escalators, I'll take the steps and I'll do a little like a couple more steps and I'll go a little fast. And then I'll be like, okay, we're racing now. Like, and I started that, but it's just taking moments in your day to bring play in is a huge, huge, I believe I think it's one of the easiest ways to heal. I really, really do. That's why I have so much respect for what you do.
Oh, thank you. It's interesting. I'm going to say I think play is one of the easiest ways to heal once adults can get past their bias of play. That's one of the things I hear from people all the time is, "Oh, I can't play. I don't have time. I'm too old." I hear
It
people
doesn't
tell me
feel
all the
good
time, "No."
at
They're like,
first.
"Grow
It
up.
feels
You're an adult. Stop playing."
it
And
feels so unnatural because we're as society, we're taught that that has to stop. And it does not have to stop. It actually, I believe it's the key. It's the key to happiness that we don't really know we're even missing, right?
No, and as adults, our play becomes competitive. Think of playing sports, playing games, playing an instrument, you're being graded on it. And play is just this pure. uh, So I define play as moving for the pure joy of just moving with no real intent behind it other than to enjoy yourself. And that just releases, like you were talking about, the feel good hormones, the serotonin, the dopamine, and that just changes your brain. And when you add music and meditation and the colorful method that Gina Marie's been talking about, that just can really shift your healing in ways that, yeah, you can't even imagine if you haven't done somatic work or playful movement like this. So,
Well, the movement in the session is not choreographed. It is movement that we just move. And that's exactly why I incorporated it because it needs to just be you moving. I always tell people it does not matter what the person next to you looks like. This does not, you have to get all of that out of your head because a 5-year-old would dance like no one is watching. You need to dance like no one's watching too. Just have fun. So we do. I think people, get more used to it the more they do it.
yes, 100%. So if you feel uncomfortable with moving or dancing or playing, it's normal. Keep going. Your body's going to get more and more comfortable with it. I promise. All right. So, Jean Marie, I could talk for hours and I want
I know.
to, because I love this. But I do have two questions for you. And then I understand you have a gift for the audience. So I'll have you tell them about that. But I'm going to ask you, if you could wave a magic wand, talking about playing and tapping into our inner child, you have a magic wand and you get to wave it. What's one thing that you would change on your healing journey?
I think I would change my self-talk
Uh,
in the fact that I had the habit of telling myself that this was going to be something that was never ending, a never ending journey. I questioned even at times continuing, going through it. I would also, the biggest thing with changing the self-talk for me was thinking that something was wrong with me. And I
mhm.
want everyone listening to realize and to truly adopt and get that out of your head because we are all perfect and there is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing broken. You are whole. It just sometimes it's hard to feel the wholeness if we have some things that are causing us to feel cloudy and dark. And I said it's like our energy bodies, we have these clouds, and it's hard to feel the sun, and it's hard to feel the brightness when we have the clouds. It's just healing, and all these beautiful techniques that exist are to remove those so that you can feel a little bit lighter. But there's definitely nothing wrong with you, and I wish I would have had someone tell me that at the start of my journey, because I think I would have looked at it a little bit differently because we can get really frustrated and think, why am I doing this? It's going to be a never ending thing. And, it can get discouraging. So I want everyone to know, even if it feels yucky for a little while, keep it up. Don't give up. I want everyone to feel what Angie and I feel, an inner vibrancy and light that is almost hard to put into words. And I feel like the people choked up here that experience some of the darkest pain have the ability to shine the brightest light because it is what we go through that makes us able to be this pure, this light, and have the vibrancy that we do and the heart for sharing what we share.
Oh my gosh, I got a little choked up on that as well. So, okay, yes. And Just because your story you may feel like is not as heavy as something that others have experienced, don't discount that, because I'm gonna tag on to that. Just because your experience may not be the same as someone else's doesn't mean you didn't go through hell in order to get to where you are as well. So don't compare stories, because your pain that has brought you to where you are has been your journey and your path to help you learn that you aren't broken. There's nothing wrong with you.
I think that's the biggest thing. Everyone's feelings deserve validation, no
Yes.
matter how small, how large, no matter your feelings are always important. You should never have anybody tell you shouldn't feel a certain way. Whatever we feel, we're supposed to feel whatever we feel, and it's okay. So
Yeah.
I believe that everybody's healing journey obviously is unique, but even at the lowest, tiniest thing, it still needs processed because that we're emotional beings and
Yes.
that's what's coming into our world. And so it all needs processed.
I love it. Oh, that was beautiful. So I'm going to ask you the opposite. If in 12 months we were to sit down and talk, where would you want to be on your healing or your releasing journey that you aren't now?
For me, I am always, I don't want to say honing, but I guess it's hard. I don't know what word to put on it. Increasing my effectiveness of processing the emotions that I get met with. So for me, I'm always gauging. We talked about this right before we started filming. Central nervous system response and the speed at which you feel these hits. And what we mean by that, if you don't know, when your body or your mind is hit with a stressful event, when you immediately get that like whoa pit in your stomach, dry mouth, like your whole entire body just, it's like someone jolts you with a lightning rod from head to toe, and it's this immediate like fight or flight mode is, what Angie has described it as. And when you feel that, it's because we're usually at this heightened sense, it's easier for that response to happen. The more though that you meditate, you work, you regulate that central nervous system response, when these stressful events happen, you will start to see a decrease in the that response. And the response, how I knew that I was making some of the greatest progress in this journey is I got a call less than a month ago that my one of my brothers, now I have lost three brothers and a nephew in 4 years, one to overdose, one to COVID, all young. I mean, all of them are under, well, now 60. It was my oldest brother, and he had been taken to the hospital unresponsive. And I did not get that hit that I would have normally gotten. Not only, and I have to say it, grief and I are very good friends, but in the journey of that, the processing of the grief from losing this last brother, three, was a night and day difference. I could do an entire 2 hour talk on how I processed it so differently. So I would love in the future if that just continues to get easier to the point where maybe there isn't anything that'll bring that central nervous system response back. I don't know. I think that could be a really cool, like, the world falling apart around you and you're just like, good.
Okay, yeah, I can navigate. I handle this. I can navigate it.
That's my goal.
I love it. That's a fantastic goal.
Mhm.
Okay, so Gina Marie, tell everybody what you have for them.
So I designed a special mini clearing meditation for you to experience just the meditation part. It's a little bit shorter and you'll get the track to that free. You can listen to it, anytime you want. It'll have a little bit of description in the beginning to tell you how to do it, and then it'll walk through. And of course, it has our beautiful custom music in there. It'd probably be better to listen with headphones if you can. Binaural frequencies work a little better like that. But yeah, I'm excited to give you guys that.
Amazing. So we'll drop that link in the show notes. Make sure you definitely go grab that. I'm so excited to try it. I can't wait to hear this music. And Gina Marie, tell people how to get a hold of you if they want to get in touch with you and follow you.
So On Facebook, it is Colorful Living with Gina Marie. Actually, I think it's that almost everywhere. I think it's that on TikTok as well. I think Instagram. I think pretty much all my socials are aligned. And then I can even maybe give Angie a link tree, which will have obviously all the little links to make it easy. So yeah, love to welcome you to our colorful collective, is what I call it. So.
I love that. We'll also drop all the ways to connect with Gina Marie down in the show notes. So definitely go connect with her. The Colorful Collective, become a part of it. That is amazing. And also, for those of you that are feeling a little anxious right now, feel like you need a little bit of help, I'm also including in the show notes my free, short, less than 5 minute movement sequence that you can do when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you need some instant calm. It's a playful move. I do it, quite frankly, almost every day. So, also tap into that even if you don't need it right now. You may need it at some point when you're feeling kind of dysregulated or anxious. And so, it's a great tool to help regulate your nervous system. So go check out both of those, all of those. Connect with Gina Marie and join her colorful collective. And until then, Gina Marie, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your story with us. And I'll see you next
Thank
time,
you, Angie, for
everybody.
having me. So
Thanks for
thank
being
you.
here.